Welcome to this new series, Monthly Reflections, for those of us who are aware of being on a journey through space-time, that we live at the level of another spiritual reality. Now, some of us have been travelling together as companions over several series, but some of you may have joined us for the first time, or just browsed your way into this video by accident. You are most especially welcome if you have. You see, all of us, all human beings, are on this space-time journey, physically, psychologically, our human person, travelling from birth to death. But as I've just mentioned, we also make this journey at a different level of consciousness. One of a journey that doesn't depend on our body psyche, that we call a spiritual journey into reality. So reality, the discovery of reality, is really the purpose of our space-time journey. And so, we have to make this journey through today's world, and in trying to keep our attention awake and focused on this most special journey, most important journey, we need help to face the challenges. We need companionship. We need time to stop and rethink deeply over the experiences of everyday life. And this is what we do in this particular monthly series. We pick up something that's happened in daily life, and we take our orientation, the direction in which we will travel for the next month, from that ordinary, everyday incident. We give ourselves time to reflect on it. We take with us a question to chew over during the month. And then for those who would find it helpful, there will also be the suggestion of a very simple practice you could put into your everyday life, which in actual fact will deepen your sense of reality and of purpose of life. And so, whether you want to listen just to the orientation or to continue with the question that leaves us with, the question to go, the question to chew over during the next month, or even to just follow the very simple exercise or practice, is up to you. All three will be here for you. So, this is the first time and the only time we will make this introduction. And then after that, we begin. A few days ago, I had my cell phone in my hand, ready to make a phone call, and there was one of those news flashes that went across the screen. It said that there were people for sale. Yes, people, human beings, for sale. It then went on to say that in one well-known country, smugglers had been putting human beings up for auction to be sold as slaves. Now, that came as a shock. I read a little more about this announcement in the press later, but then it disappeared. So perhaps you may not have seen it, or read it, or even heard of it. But hearing about it now, what was your immediate reaction? Just hold that for a moment. The people who were being sold were in actual fact migrants into that country, and therefore out of their own country, homeless and unprotected, perhaps also without jobs and without hope. But they were being sold, auctioned, in an open market. There were not only people selling them, there were people buying them. Well, perhaps your first reaction was like mine. It was shock. This is happening today? a slave trade in an open market in today's world? Yes, of course it's happened before. And we all know for a fact that how many people were brought from Africa as slaves into the New World, North America, and sold as slaves. But today, people who have lost their dignity, their value in their own eyes and in the eyes of everybody involved in this. Well, shock might have been your first reaction. Or you might have just been skeptical, rejecting, come on, this isn't happening. This is a bit of journalese. Somebody's faked reporting. A little bit of political provocation. But don't let's take it seriously. Or your reaction might have been neither shock nor rejection, but simply indifference. Well, why not? We know that many young women and girls are sold into the sex trade in developed countries in the world, sold as slaves. And then, of course, there are the cultural differences. If these people came from another culture, they wouldn't see slavery as such an abomination that we might see it as. And anyway, caste and class distinction are still with us everywhere. And so, what was your first reaction, either at seeing or reading this in the media, or just hearing about it now? Shock? Rejection? Indifference? If I was not shocked at hearing about this, the possibility of human beings being so devalued, perhaps I need to ask myself, am I losing my own sense of value as a human being? A unique human being. Every human being is absolutely unique. We remind ourselves that even our brain-mind intelligence is sophisticated and extraordinarily powerful. Just think of the technological inventions of a human mind today. There is no other species on planet Earth that has our sophistication, our sophisticated intelligence. And not only on Earth, but we are unique, as far as we know, in the whole of the universe, or probably in all the unknown universes that have not yet been discovered. Every single human being is beyond price and valuable. And I am a human being. Have I really lost the sense of how important I am, how unique I am? My value beyond price at all? I should have been shocked to think that any human being could be put up for sale. There is no price we can put on a human being. So that's one thing. Perhaps I'm also losing the sense of my own dignity. I have political and social security, perhaps, where I live, unlike the migrants who were put up for auction. But is there a danger to my self-value that I haven't really noticed? Well, there are possibly several. But I just want to mention one, seeing as I started with a piece of technology. What about artificial intelligence? The science of making pieces of equipment, bits of technology that can reproduce what human intelligence can do. Human intelligence can reason, discuss, learn from its mistakes and its past experience. And so can artificial intelligence now. And is there more that artificial intelligence will do? We're looking to what is being called the automation of society, losing one's autonomy, losing one's unique sense of one's uniqueness. Automation. Well, how far has that gone? Well, how far have robots gone? We have robots that work in primary schools and nurseries. We have robots that are there to land on unknown planets in space so that human life is not at risk. We have robots in social service, helping out in the old people's homes and delivering medication and saying a kindly or cheering word to the inhabitants of the home. Robots, as well as in many other situations, in many other industries. We have iPhones and all the power that the iPhone has over our way of life. And what else? We have driverless cars, automated homes, and so on, and so on, and so on. Are we very far from being an automated humanity? Perhaps less far away than we would like to think. The restricting of our freedom, the restricting of our possibility of choosing, different forms of slavery. Automation could be one that's becoming very important. Flicks on. So perhaps for the month ahead, I just have to go back over that question. Was I shocked? Was I rejecting? Or was I simply indifferent to the threat to my own dignity as a human being, my own importance, my own uniqueness, and a threat to my freedom? Am I really going to be enslaved, in chains of any sort? My freedom to choose. There are lots of ways in which we hear of this. Quite often people who are suffering burnout complained that their employers were so demanding that they had no time to think, no time to get away and reflect. So if you choose to do that this month, then you are claiming your freedom. This month I need to look at many important, subtle ways in which I could be losing my sense of dignity, my sense of importance, simply being human, my skill, the skill of my mind, my intelligence, and the ways it can be threatened. The gathering of human data through technology, such as this, take Facebook, for example. It's only one simple example. the gathering of human data has probably reached proportions that most of us are totally unaware of. Those of them scientists who've just done a research and study on this tell us that within the next 7 years, that's in 2025, there will be 150 different measures of human data. Information about me, how I live, what I need, what I like, what I trust. Isn't that a loss of freedom? That all that information is being handled and used and re-exploited in different ways. And it's gathering momentum. So for my reflection this month, to look at my own life a little more carefully, to look at my sense of dignity, my value, how I may be losing it, what is threatening it, and also the coming of automation. How far is my life and the information about my life being taken over by technology? Just that. Plenty to go with, plenty of questions. Now, for those of you who would like to think, well, I want a little help on this, reflecting on it myself or discussing it with friends and waking up to things I hadn't noticed about my life is one thing, but I need to do something practical. I once heard a very powerful and wise spiritual teacher say, look, there is only one spiritual practice necessary. Learning how to get the glue off your fingers. To be free to pick up anything and equally free to put it down again. And so perhaps for our practice this month we could choose any one small action of our day that we do automatically, automatically. And now you know your lifestyle and you have to choose what it is. It could be that coming home from work, the first thing you do is fall back into an easy chair and reach for a cigarette. Okay. Well, perhaps you choose that. If you pick up the cigarette automatically without thinking, put it down again. Pick it up later, if you wish. But don't do it automatically. Be aware of the fact that you're doing it. Or it could be falling into a chair and making a cup of coffee. It really doesn't matter what the thing is. You discover, locate, recognize any automatic action. Any action you do automatically, unthinkingly in your day. There may be many, but choose one. And for the next 4 weeks, do it thinkingly. And if you do it automatically, you picked it up, put it down. Be free to put it down again and free to pick it up again. Reclaim your freedom from slavery. So enjoy. Enjoy the practice, enjoy the reflection, enjoy your life, your freedom and your dignity.